Tonight on Q2, a Senate send-off.
God bless you all, and tally ho.
Jon Tester gives his final farewell to the U.S. Senate after 18 years in office. Plus, under investigation.
Anger at the atmosphere that allowed this.
An alleged hate crime raising concerns in Billings when flyers are posted attacking a Billings woman's identity. And debate over the Dogies.
I think it's a more menacing look than any other cartoon that we've ever come up with, really.
Forsyth's logo now in question as concerns are raised over copyright issues. The MTN 10 o'clock news starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on this Monday night. I'm Russ Riesinger. Our top story, a final goodbye. Longtime Montana Senator Jon Tester delivering his farewell speech on the Senate floor this afternoon. The third-generation farmer from Big Sandy served 3 terms in the U.S. Senate, elected first in 2006. Tonight, our David J. has more on the work he accomplished while in office and the legacy he leaves behind.
Senator Tester's Billings office is in this building. He talked about his accomplishments on the Senate floor. He grew up in Big Sandy, and a big part of his speech involved his family, which he says helped shape him as the man who eventually became a U.S. Senator for 18 years.
I see my greatest accomplishment as being a United States Senator as a citizen legislator. Having a real full-time job outside this body, in my case as a farmer. This is what our forefathers had in mind. Trips home every weekend.
Those who worked with Senator Tester say he would work on the farm until 3 a.m. in Big Sandy before catching a flight back to Washington, D.C.
He would think about problems and solutions and ideas and perspectives while he was sitting in the cab of his combine. And he would come up with an idea and call somebody, whether it was another senator or me as his chief of staff.
Aaron Murphy served as chief of staff for Senator Tester in 2017 and 2018 and worked with him during his first term starting in 2007.
Hopefully in that speech you saw his sense of humor as well. He is beloved in the Senate. I saw it with my own eyes, not just Democrats, but Republicans too. They love the guy because he's authentic.
Much of that work focused on defense appropriations and veterans affairs, something he carried through for the entirety of his time in office.
The list goes on. It was an incredible experience, opportunity, and something that I will cherish after I leave this body.
It's a moment of great pride for people who know him and who have been affected by him, and I would say that's the entire state of Montana.
And through it all, Tester kept true to his roots, talking about his grandfather, homesteading the land where he grew up near Big Sandy, and the impact his family had on him, especially his father.
In 1 minute, he would be mad as hell at you, and shortly thereafter, he had forgotten all about it, and he was your friend. He enjoyed life and always said, life ain't worth living if you can't have fun. He was a hard-working, free spirit.
Murphy, who is also the co-author of Tester's memoir, says it's Tester's wife of 47 years who has the biggest influence on him, always standing by no matter the circumstances.
Charlotte is a rock for Senator Tester, and the two of them are a force to be reckoned with. They do everything together.
God bless you all, and tally ho.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.
Montana's Republican Senator Steve Daines thanking Tester for all his years in the Senate, saying that the work and long hours that goes into it often goes unnoticed. I spoke with Daines recently as he put into words just how much the senator has meant to the Treasure State.
It's not an easy task to get up every Monday morning there in Big Sandy, drive all the way to Great Falls, catch the flight back to D.C., and the same thing on the return, whether it's icy roads or not. I want to thank Jon Tester for his service to our state, to our country. It is appreciated.
Tester's final official day in office will be January 2nd, with Tim Sheehy being sworn in on the 3rd. City Council helping lead Billings into the future tonight, officially approving funding for a number of top priority projects through the year 2030. The council voting in favor of the nearly $552 million capital improvement plan, one that serves as a blueprint for the future of the Magic City. The main projects for 2026 include around $20 million for the Amen Park Rec Center, $10 million for renovations at the South Park Pool, and millions for the airport interior terminal. Andy Zeller, Billings Finance Director, called it a team effort to put these budgets together.
It's really a collaborative effort. So every city department will put together, hey, here's the projects we want to do. Now those may be driven by other transportation plans, funding we know is available, infrastructure needs we've identified, right? We know which roads are in most need of repair or expansion.
The cost for all of the 2026 projects comes out to $106 million. Billings police are investigating a possible hate crime. In the incident, flyers were posted centered on a transgender Billings resident making claims about her beliefs and personal life. As our Charlie Kleps reports, it's an evolving situation that police are investigating.
It was in this area near Lewis and Clark Middle School just a few weeks ago where flyers were posted on street signs like this one directly calling out a transgender Billings resident. And unfortunately, it's not something she's surprised by.
I was just thinking, why am I doing this? Why do I have to do this?
The questions understandably swirled in Adria Jawart's head.
Why do people think this is okay?
As she spent hours in the snow just before Thanksgiving removing flyers like this one.
The thing that the flyer said, calling me a groomer and stuff, and basically I'm a danger to the community.
The flyers, which were posted all over the area near Lewis and Clark Middle School, right in the neighborhood where Jawart lives, had pictures of Adria making harmful claims about her personal life.
It's like one of the most awful things you can say, and how does that become normalized?
Jawart has since filed a report with Billings police, who were unavailable for an interview but confirmed Monday they were investigating. In a statement, Lieutenant Matthew Lennox shared what qualifies as hate speech, saying, quote, once someone transitions from making a general statement about their beliefs or another group to a targeted attack on an individual, things could change. A victim could take civil action against someone attempting to defame them. On the criminal side, if a suspect was found, Lennox says it could be a few options: disorderly conduct, stalking, intimidation, or harassment, to name a few.
It was just like a righteous anger.
Jawart believes she knows the local group responsible for the flyers, but says the issues start at the state capitol in Helena, pointing to things like last week's proposed rule change to bathroom procedures that specifically targeted transgender Representative Zoe Zephyr.
I knew this kind of thing was going to get worse, especially with the legislative session coming up and with me having a target on my back and it's not even that many trans people in Montana, but it's like went beyond me.
A situation Jawart has been forced to live with, frustrated and knowing she's not alone.
It wasn't just like a attack on me. It's like a attack on a lot of Montanans.
In Billings, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.
The 5-day manhunt for the suspect in the brazen shooting death of the United Healthcare CEO is over for now. Police arrested and have questioned the main person of interest in the murder of Brian Thompson. The man, identified as 26-year-old Luigi Mangione, was taken into custody this morning at a Pennsylvania McDonald's. He's currently being held on firearms charges after Mangione was carrying a ghost gun and a silencer. Police also say they've recovered a handwritten 3-page document from Mangione indicating he had some ill will towards corporate America. Officials say he was born and raised in Maryland before attending college in Pennsylvania. He has no prior arrest history in New York.
Here's a live shot with the Stockman Bank weather cam here at Billings, where temperatures today 37 for the high temperature, right at the 30-year average. We were a little bit warmer than average at 29. But look, we also had a 37-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and sunset still happening at 4:30 in the afternoon. Statewide temperatures 30s across most of Montana, a little bit chillier by the time we get to around Baker at 29 for an afternoon high. But the bigger story, the wind, especially across eastern Montana. A lot of the wind gusts hitting 30, 40 plus miles per hour. We'll see some wind move back into the areas just to the west of Billings. And we'll also be watching for some of those wind gusts with snow that developed earlier in the day. I guess I'll show you that later.
It's back to the drawing board for the Forsyth Doggies as the school faces backlash for sharing its newest logo design. The fate of that logo is now in the hands of the University of Texas, where some are concerned they're too similar. MTN's Marcus Kakova met with faculty and students who say they want their Doggie back.
The town of Forsyth is faced with a problem.
One Doggie here, it's the same one that's here, but then there's this different one. So yeah, like 4 different Doggies on just this one page.
But before we get into that, first of all, what is a Doggie?
A Doggie? A Doggie is a fierce animal. It's a motherless calf. The Doggie fights for itself. It doesn't have anything handed to it.
Okay, now that we've determined our terms, the case of bad branding was being resolved by the school in an effort to have one logo.
The whole plan was, to start moving back through the buildings, get our purple updated, get some school spirit back in the building.
Students, however, had their thoughts.
We just don't feel like the new options represented us well as a school.
But the facial features they kind of look like an alien, and the artwork, the line work on the face is just way off.
So student body president Preston McGregor took to Facebook.
Thank you for listening, and I hope you take student interest into account when making your decision. Remember, doggies fight harder than any other animal.
And that's when the community really joined in. Preston's video being shared nearly 100 times, seen by thousands. The verdict? They want their old doggy back.
That logo represents just this town and Forsyth's identity. It's the first logo you see when you come into town.
People take it more serious. The cartoon one, I feel like, is more of a elementary kind of thing.
But the school's branding company tells school officials the original doggy is too similar to the Texas Longhorn logo.
They were trying to give us a trademark and they couldn't because they said it was too close to another mascot.
So students are awaiting a response from the university after reaching out for the appropriate permissions.
The identity of your school is really what the school is built on.
But why the fuss? The extra effort? Why not just stick with the latest in logos? 1974 Forsyth High School graduate Mike Blakesley says the original logo is a reminder of what a doggy is. Resilient.
This town has been declared dead so many times over the years, but we've always come back, and we always do come back, and we always will.
Marcus Kakova, MTN News.
Montana Governor Greg Gianforte has named Christy Clark as the new director of Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks. Clark currently serves as director of the Montana Department of Agriculture, comes from a ranching background. She replaces Dustin Temple, who retires at the end of the year. Clark worked in several roles, including deputy director, agricultural sciences administrator, and marketing bureau chief. She also previously served in the Montana House. FWP has a budget of around $213 million for the next 2 years.